TV's Rick Blood is here!
Rick Blood. Rick Blood.
Rick Blood.
Rick Blood.
Hey, that's cool.
Hey, welcome to Unfiltered. Just lost my cap. Thanks, Greg. You're all right. Trying to open my water in that last second, just didn't work. I'm going to start off with last night, because I took a crew over to the EF Lane Hotel last night and taped a fantastic evening of comedy, the Keen Comic Competition, sponsored by, actually it was a benefit for the AIDS services of Monadnock region. Good benefit, had a fairly good crowd. It wasn't the 125 people like we had 3 years ago when we did it, but you know, it was fun. And the winner was Sweet Baby Ray. Once again, that makes him two-time winner now. He won in 06, I think, or 05. And he won this year. So, only because I didn't perform. That's why. I'm telling you, because I could have smoked them all. Yeah. I want to start. Let's start with, I mean, a lot of the biggest stuff, I mean, you can't turn your TV on to any news show but what they're talking about, the healthcare stuff. You know, and the Democrats wanting this health care bill, universal health care, or as they're calling it, Obamacare. Isn't that what they are? Obamacare, Obama health, something like that. Anyway, get this. Oregon already has universal health care. There was, I believe the woman was 64 years old. She had some type of cancer that called for a specific medication. The medication cost $4,000. She was told that they will not pay for that medication. They will, however, pay to have her euthanized. Yeah. I mean, all the people that are protesting the healthcare reform, they're talking about death panels, you know, and I mean, I just want to say, I told you so. I mean, 3 years ago when I started this show, I said that the main reason that healthcare costs are so high is because we're caring for old people. We're stretching life to the point of where we can't afford, you know, to cure young people because we're spending all the money keeping the old people alive. So now, I mean, yeah, and this lady's like 64, and they're like, well, the drug for your treatment costs $4 grand. The drug to euthanize you costs $50. So, suffer with your disease, or, you know, check out. And that's what it's going to come down to. I'm telling you. It's not, maybe it's not compassionate, but the simple, honest, logical facts are, if you want to bring down the cost of health care, kill the old people. I'm just saying, you don't replace hips on 20-year-old people, 30 or 40-year-old people usually. You know, you don't replace knees. Is not usually open heart surgery. You know, I lived to 47 before I had a heart attack. You know, that's 47 years, but call it a warranty. You know, just like your car. Once your car's warranty runs out, most people get rid of them. So once Granny hits 75, get rid of her. You know, and that's the thing. If the eldest people in families died at 75 or were put away at 75, inheritances would be more. Because people wouldn't be spending their life's fortune on the last 3 years of their life in a nursing home. No, they pay that $50 and leave the other $200,000 to the family. I'm just saying, you know, it's horrible, but I mean, granted, I'm not a college student or a college graduate. You know, I don't have a master's degree or a associate's degree. I barely got a library card. But that's the facts. The older you get, the more it costs to take care of you. Plain and simple. You can't just, you either have to stop people from having kids, or you have to have an age where you get rid of people. It's horrible, but that's life. Ever since I was born, I've been taught life is a thing. You're born, you live, you die. That's part of it. You die. That's like one of the most important parts of it. There is an end. And if when you were born, you knew that your last day on earth was the day before your 75th birthday, then your entire life, you would know that, and you would plan for that, so that when that day came, you could go, that's great, I've done everything I want to do. I mean, still you have accidental deaths, you know, so even though you're planning to die at 75, you could die at 30.
That's right, there's still a loophole.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically my problem, is I didn't think I was going to have any money when I was 50 years old. So I didn't plan any. I figured, shit, I'll be dead by the time I'm 40. Oh, well, bad luck, I guess. So that's it. I've outlived my money. Now what? Oh, well. But anyway, that Oregonian woman is stupid. And it's a raw deal. Because 64, I mean, she'd still have 10 years. In my perfect society, you get to live to 75, which I think is fair. You know, that's a fair age. And I would also, I mean, granted, my ideas are fairly communistic, socialistic, Marxist, Leninist, everything like all rolled into one, because I don't really pay attention to political shit. So communism and socialism could be the same thing. I don't know. But, yeah, in my world, the first 20 years of your life, not 17 or 18, the first full 20 years of your life, you're in education. You're being taught everything. Reading, writing, an introduction to careers, you know, life skills, cooking, sewing, technical stuff, everything. And by the time you're 20, you've basically, at the end of your education cycle, you make a choice of what type of business you want to be in, or a career path. And, like if you want to be a doctor. Also, included in that 20 years is also a short stay in the military for everybody. You know, people in wheelchairs can still be in the military. You know, my military doesn't fight wars, though. My military is part of the education system to teach kids responsibility and things like that. And then after your 20 years is up, you get like a free pass for 5 years. You know, and in my world, if you are involved in the program, the life, everything's basically taken care of. Yeah, the people that are working get money taken out of their checks for, a general fund. Kind of like the Borg, I guess, in Star Trek, a collective where everybody helps everybody, and the doctor is actually no better than the garbage man because they're both equally important in life. And they should be able to have the same things. How come, why is it that the doctor can have a speedboat, or a luxury yacht? The garbage man will never own a luxury yacht. Never. Unless he owns the garbage company. And still, even then, the doctor will always be above the garbage guy. And it's not right, because if there were no garbage guys, we'd be in shit up to our ears. At least. Just stacking it up. But that's what I'm saying. And, that would be my life. So you get 5 years, free pass. You can travel while you're young, see the world, I wouldn't even push the travel outside of our borders. I would say, wait a minute, why do you need to go to Spain? Go to Colorado. Because, hey, our country is, in my opinion, as a former truck driver and as a former Navy guy who has seen other countries, our country's way more beautiful than any place I've been. So, after that 5 years, you're 25. You go to work. You work from 25 to 65. Same 40 years that you're working now before retirement. And then at 65, you're retired. You still get whatever you need to be happy. And at 75, you're out. Sorry. I think it's a great plan. You've got 5 years to do whatever you want while you're young. You've got 10 years to do whatever you want at 65. And then, sorry, but you're done. I don't know. It would help out with housing. It would help out with health care. It would help out with almost anything you can mention. It would help out with the food supply. I'm just saying. It sounds very callous and horrible, but that's life. Don't you bring your kids up? You don't tell them, that their pet is going to live forever. Pets die, and that's, kids learn. Most often, kids learn from pet deaths about how to deal with death. Death is a part of life. If you can't get that through your head, I don't know. I just don't know what to say. All right. Let me go on to some funnier stuff, because that's kind of, it's a horrible thing to think about. But it's coming. And I don't know, there's no easy answers. And all the town hall meetings and stuff, this is what cracks me up. Because the Democrats are saying now that all these people that are upset at town hall meetings and screaming and yelling and disrupting the town hall meetings are all like this whole big ploy by the Republicans, like radical Republicans, to disrupt this thing. But if you think back like 4 years to when Bush was president, it was just the opposite. We had Democrats trying to mess up town hall meetings. It's the same thing. The point is, I don't think it's any kind of conspiracy or anything that just the Republican Party has to do with. I think it's the American people are finally making it known that we're not happy with the way things are being run. I don't know. Again, and I go right back to like my experience, and as people that have watched the show know, I've done a lot of jobs in my life, and when I work for some place that is not doing things the right way, I get the hell out of there. You know? And it's just, but that's what we have to do. We come together as a people. Rise up. We can slay them. We can. And it doesn't even have to be with a sword, you know? Do it with the pen and, you know, the media. Public access. This is what it's all about, baby. West Hartford, Connecticut. This is funny. A career burglar faces new charges after police caught her leaving a Bentwood Road home with $400 worth of stolen jewelry in her pocket, latex gloves, and a screwdriver. Yeah, that doesn't sound very funny, does it? Till you take into consideration the lady is 60 years old. 60. Yeah. She's got 40 convictions. That's right. Apparently Connecticut is 43 strikes and you're out. She's 40 convictions and spent numerous stretches in Connecticut prison since 1983. That's 10 years. That's like better than that's 4 convictions a year. Apparently this lady isn't a very good criminal. But she was being held. The police captain says we've been arresting her for years. Just another day at work. She's accused of using a screwdriver to force open the door to the house, which they said she picked at random. She's being held on $500,000 bail for. She's doing the Superior Court in Hartford on August 20th. So, you know, if you want a funny day, head on down to Hartford on the 20th and pop in on the court cases. She's going to answer the charges of 5th-degree larceny. 5th degree. Never heard of that. 3rd-degree burglary, 2nd-degree criminal mischief, and possession of burglar's tools. They just got to find something in the 4th degree to hold her on. And then she'd have the flush or the straight or whatever. Her record includes convictions for burglary, larceny, possession of narcotics, and escape from custody. Oh, she does have a 4th-degree larceny case pending. I'm glad I don't read these stories before I come on the air, because that wouldn't have been half as funny. During one West Hartford burglary in September of 2003, she was confronted by a resident of the home she was robbing as she climbed through the window to get inside. She walked away without saying a word. Stupid. See, if you're that bad at crime, quit. I would find something straight to do. Oh, because actually, I want to read this other one because if you're going to go down to watch the court case, this may be important. Out in Joliet, Illinois, a man's facing 6 months in jail because he was in court and he made yawning sounds. Yeah, he was found in contempt of court and sentenced to 6 months because he yawned in the courtroom. Well, some people, there's conflicting statements about the guy's yawn. Spokesman for the state attorney's office said the prosecutor in the courtroom at the time told him that what came out of the man's mouth could hardly be called a yawn. This was a very loud, boisterous, deliberate attempt on the part of this individual to disrupt the proceedings and show disrespect to the court. Somebody else disagreed, saying it was not an outrageous yawn, and he can't believe the man's in jail for nothing. They should try living in New Hampshire, because we got lots of people in jail for nothing. So anyway, yeah, just don't yawn in court. Don't film in court. Don't, you know, my best advice for anybody is just don't go to court. Plain and simple, stay away. That's what I've been doing so far. It's been working great. All right. Yeah, let's, can we do crew call, Bruce? No? No? Sorry to wake you up in there. You see that, Jim? They're in there sleeping. I'll give them a second to get caught up. I'll read one of these. Wandering albatross devote a full year to raising their babies. Oh, well. We're ready. On camera over here to my left is Jim. I gave up on camera numbers. We switched. I don't know. And you guys hooked up the cables tonight, so I don't know which cameras you got. So, but it's Jim. Hey, did anybody ask for your autograph at City? No?
I was upset.
Disappointed. Yeah, I know.
I had a pen and everything. I had pictures. And
You wanted the $5.
Ah,
I did.
that's it. He just wanted the $5, Greg. On the other camera over here, everybody's heard. Well, no, you've been kind of quiet tonight, Greg. But Greg's here, as usual. And Greg was with me at the EF Lane Hotel last night. In the booth. Great shot of your back, Greg. We got Bruce and Andrea.
Yeah, we don't. Greg's still working on the iris.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Okay.
Greg's still working on the iris.
Well, I mean, it's new
We're
cameras.
a little dark in here. Hello, everybody.
New cameras. Roll the wheel down, Greg, and it lightens it up.
We're coming.
Just the opposite as the
Just takes a minute.
the other ones.
New equipment, just breaking it in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's nice.
It's nice.
We've got
equipment.
3 permanent studio cameras now that always stay in the studio, so we don't have to worry. I mean, and
You can speak in the camera.
you know, I can speak in the camera too. Thanks, Bruce. People know that we have come in on weeks where Rick's forgot to make the reservation and all the cameras have been checked out except for one. You know, and we've dealt with it, but that will never happen again. So things are coming along really good. And how about you?
Things are coming along fine here.
Good.
We're getting a hang. You know, we still screw up once in a while in here in the booth, but pretty much got it under control tonight. Things are moving along smoothly.
Yeah.
Work still sucks, my day job, but hey, it's work. That's why they call it work.
Yep.
So,
And I hear
Beyond
things are a little rough around the house lately because Andrea's put you on
yeah.
on a peanut ration for your
Andrea's
squirrels.
rationing my peanuts. She said we're starting to spend way too much money on peanuts.
Yeah, just to be throwing them out to the squirrels.
Just to be throwing my nuts around the yard, but they're fun little critters. I like doing it. I'm sorry, but yeah, she busted out the scale on me last week and segregated the peanuts into bags and put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I had to, you know, and the little guys don't understand. You know, I got a dozen squirrels out in the yard, and they're all sitting up on their hind legs looking at me like, dude, you're still out here, but where's the nuts?
And a couple of them are almost as big as Jim now.
Damn near. Damn near. They're getting big. I ain't got a skinny squirrel in the neighborhood because they're all well fed. But
And you know, I watch them when you're over there feeding them. Do squirrels have opposing thumbs?
yes, they do.
They do.
They do have thumbs.
So see, if I were you, I would be afraid that when you stop feeding them, they'll break into your house and like attack you or something.
True, but they'll.
Just saying.
We got
Never
cats.
trust a squirrel.
We got attack cats in the house that they're very interested in what goes on outside. But nothing else going on in the world right now. At least in my world, it's just get up, go to work, come home, feed the squirrels, go to bed. Very little on TV anymore. It sucks. We're paying way too much money for cable.
Shh.
But
No, pay more.
pay more. Yes. If I could get paid more, maybe I'd be willing to.
All right.
But, you know, ain't seen a raise in 3 years.
I would like to see everybody pay just a little bit more for their cable
Right.
so we can get new toys.
Our highlight of the week is when we get to sit home and watch the race on Sunday, or at least in this case it was Monday. We ended up having to catch it after work. It
Yep.
was rained out, but still a good race at Watkins Glen. So I'm going to let Andrea fill everybody in on how that went, and we'll talk to you in a bit.
Excellent.
You
Hi, yeah, Watkins Glen was really good. Watkins Glen's always a lot of fun to watch. A lot of people don't like the road courses, but they can be exciting, and the drivers have got to really be on their toes when they get driving on those things because some of the best drivers end up out in the pucker brush, and it's no fun. So, but I mean, Junior lost his brakes and he ended up crashing, so that he was out of the race. Ended up scoring like I think it was like 39th. So again, so I mean, if he didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck. But anyways, the finish was Tony Stewart, and that was an awesome finish for him. This is the fifth time that he has won at Watkins Glen. Marcus Ambrose scored a second place finish, and he was trying to take the sweep this weekend because he had won the nationwide race the day before, and he put a move on Kyle Busch and skunked him and left Kyle Busch hanging in the breeze, and Marcus took away the win on for the nationwide race. But third for the Cup race was Carl Edwards. Then there was Kyle Busch. He came in fourth. So he actually should feel a lot better about coming in fourth. He's been moaning and groaning about coming in second, that they're there only to run second place. Well, now he's come in fourth, so he ought to feel a lot better about himself. Fifth place was Greg Biffle. So anyways, that was pretty much it. Now, what they did is, as usual, they had a gas mileage issue. They have a certain game plan that they set. Some of the guys just stuck right to it. Some of them, when they have a caution, they come in on that. But at the end, pretty much the first five guys were sucking fumes, and they managed to make it. But Johnson, who won the pole to start the race, ended up coming in 12th. During the race, they had a red flag stop. Now, this is the first time, or I shouldn't say first time, the second time in a row that I've seen them do a red flag stop at at Watkins Glen. And it was Hornish, Jeff Gordon, and Richard Burton. Oh my God, Jeff Burton. Anyways, I don't know where Richard came in there.
Richard Burton's dead, isn't he?
Yeah,
right.
he's dead.
All
But no, Jeff Burton. But anyways, they had a horrendous wreck on one of the turns and tore Hornish's car apart. There was not much left to it. But anyways, that was pretty much it for the race. And the standings haven't really changed much. They jig-jogged around a little bit, but you've got Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, he's up in fifth, stayed there. Carl Edwards, Juan Montoya came up, and he's now a seventh place in the standings. Casey Kane, Ryan Newman, Greg Biffle, Mark Martin, and Matt Kenseth. So that's your top 12 there. But anyways, they'll be going to Michigan this week, so they ought to have a good run there. And now the only other piece of news is that Lowe's Motor Speedway at the end of this year will no longer be Lowe's Motor Speedway. They're looking for another sponsor to name the track after, but if not, it will revert back to the old track name of Charlotte Motor Speedway. So anyways, that's about it for this week, Rick, and back to you.
Thank you, Andrea. I'm just peeking at some of these stories you gave me this week, and hey. Getting back to the death panels, you want to hear about this? Another thing that getting rid of all the old people will help with. In New York on Sunday morning, a 75-year-old woman drove the wrong way on the Tappan Zee Bridge. Said she entered the highway from the exit 9 off-ramp and drove north in the southbound lanes of the bridge. She drove about 2 miles before she was stopped. And when she was stopped, she told the officers that she knew she had been driving the wrong direction, but kept going because she thought there would be a place to make a U-turn. 75. And this is just a few weeks after 8 people died on July 26th when a woman drove a van carrying her 3 nieces and her own 2 children the wrong way on the Taconic State Parkway. So yeah, she crashed head-on into an SUV. But that, I think there was alcohol involved or swine flu or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, that was a story that I didn't really get into just because, if you at this time of night on Friday night, if you want to watch something real depressing, go one way, either way on the one channel, either way on the dial, and you can watch the world news. But I figure I'm here in the middle to talk about stuff like this. In Redwood, California, a guy is being held on $60,000 bail after pleading not guilty to a series of charges. He's suspected of appearing nude at homes and ringing doorbells. It's a man named Peter Allen Steele. He's 6 feet 7 inches tall and weighs 250 pounds. Yeah. He's been charged with 7 counts, including driving out of the influence, evading a peace officer, and indecent exposure and entering a house without permission. Because they say that this 38-year man led San Mateo County Sheriff's deputies on a car chase on July 11th that ended with him streaking into a home and then into the woods near Redwood City. The deputies said it took a taser and 2 shots from a beanbag gun to take him down. So yeah, that's a big guy, and chances are he was on PCP or something. And staying right along, because I don't know if any of you, probably some of you at home have seen this week's episode of When Elderly Attack. I don't want to say that it's a bad show, because it's a show, but it's a little different. As a matter of fact, I got to work today because I had to come in early and return a PA system to Cheshire Music, who was fantastic enough to donate the PA system to AIDS Services for the show last night. Last minute, I might add. So thanks, Tom, and everybody down there at Cheshire Music. You do a great job. So I came in early, and then I took that back, and when I got back to the office, I had an email that Lee had forwarded me a voicemail, because you can do that now. You can have your voicemails on your computer, which is kind of cool, I guess. So I played it, and it was actually my mother that called in. She said it was when Elderly Attacks is on, and she said, Rick, something's wrong with Channel 8. It's frozen up. Because what Joe Moss, the producer of When Elderly Attacks, is showing this week is 27 minutes of a single photograph of the world's fattest man laying in bed. Jim, it's strange. There's no sound or anything.
It's just a picture?
It's just a picture. Yeah. So, Joe's kind of a weird guy. It takes like room 207 and just squashes it, turns 207 into looking like a mainstream National Geographic show. But yeah, and when you say, I ask him, because I give him crap all the time, because he edits a lot.
That must have took a lot of editing.
He was airbrushing stuff or something, I don't know. But I said, Joe, what's with your shows, man? He's like, well, they're artsy. I was like, last week he'd had a clip of, an old clip from 9/11 of the towers, the person falling.
That's what I was thinking. I sat there for 20 minutes.
You watched it for 20 minutes, Jim? Good for you. Because he slowed that thing down to, I think, like 1 frame every 10 seconds.
Oh, that was...
So it would just move a little, and then it would sit, and then it would move a little. And
changed just ever so slightly.
it's tough, but I had to tell Joe that this week I didn't make it through the whole show. And I had to ask him, I said, it was just the one picture, right? Because I'd hate to think that I turned it off 15 minutes into the thing, and then, the last minute of the show, he had a different picture. Maybe a hot chick or something, yeah. But Joe's a little weird. But I mean, the point is he's doing it. He's doing something. So anyway. But no, I thought of that when I read this story. Because down in Texas, an obese inmate's being charged after officials learned he had a gun hidden in the flabs of his fat. Yeah, he's 500 pounds. And the man was searched during his arrest and again at the city jail and the county jail. And they never found the weapon. And finally, he admitted to having the gun during a shower break at the county jail. Apparently, he got tired of keeping it squeezed in there or something. But it was an unloaded 9mm pistol. He was originally arrested on charges of selling illegal copies of compact discs. So think. It's the whole copyright thing, and yep, you can go to jail for it. How about a story out of Germany? No, it's not a brothel story. We've been a few weeks without a brothel story, and I looked today and there's no brothel story, so apparently all's normal at the brothels. But this is a story out of Berlin. Apparently a bride spent her wedding night passed out next to a crate of vodka in the backseat of a car and had to be rescued by police when the car began to overheat in the sun the next day. She stayed unconscious even after they smashed the window out of the car. And they had to shake her a few times before she started to regain consciousness.
She liked that vodka.
Apparently she liked that vodka. She was still clad in her wedding dress. And she had no idea where the car keys or her husband were.
He was with the bridesmaid.
He was probably with the bridesmaid. I mean, I would have been. If I got married and my old lady got drunk like that and passed out in the car, yeah, she wouldn't find me in the morning either. All right. Let's talk about one other stupid criminal. Apparently the picture of the guy makes him look like a hard-boiled, tough guy, straight out of like Pulp Fiction. That real criminal-looking element. All except for the fact that he was wearing a Winnie the Pooh sweatshirt when he robbed the bank. The FBI released surveillance photos from the Park Ridge Bank in hopes that the public might help identify him. So if you see some big, burly, ugly, crime-looking guy in a Winnie the Pooh sweatshirt, let him know. Says FBI agents like to give bank robbers nicknames, such as the Scarecrow Bandit was somebody who looked like a character from The Wizard of Oz, and the Groucho Bandit was a guy that wore a fake Groucho mustache. And the FBI hopes that by giving them these quirky little nicknames that the public will, it'll generate public interest and assistance. So,
And what are they calling this guy? The Pooh Bandit?
the Winnie the Pooh Bandit, or yeah, something like that. Kind of stupid, huh? But
It's gotta be harmless.
yeah, seems like it would be. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of some funny names for criminals, but I'll take this time during the musical interlude to think of a few. This week on the Mom's Tattoo musical interlude from 2007 Music Fest is Long Before Techno.
Run it.
All right, live your days.
my people are leaving me all alone. And I might have the time to fly when you're finding your stride, time to go home. And just when I start to groove, everything come unglued, and now you whoa, whoa. Your picture perfect view fade away far too soon, yeah, that's for sure. Find the flow, but don't get me caught in the undertow. Mind the way you live, yo. The way you live, yo. Find the flow, but don't get me caught in the undertow. Mind the way you live, yo. The way you live your days, yeah. The way you live your days, yeah. The way you live your days. And now you're searching for a way to take it back to the day when you had it all. A lot less burning off and can't be learning till you fall. You fall flat and face finish the last in the race, but you're almost there. So pick yourself off the ground so you can go another round if you dare, or if you care, or if you dare to face the truth and much less proof they hope to be. Well, the things of that we care, well, sometimes cause the most despair. Oh, can't you see? Just when starts it could be a real God standing now, yo. Your self-defeated view wind up making itself do, yeah, that's for sure. Find the flow, but don't get caught in the undertow. Find the way you live, yeah, the way you live, yeah. Find the flow, but don't get caught in the undertow. Find the way you live, yeah, the way you live your days, yeah. The way you live your days, yeah. Oh, the way you live your days. The way you live your days, yeah.
All right. Long before techno. And we're getting down there. The calendar has been posted. Music Fest 2009 happens in downtown Keene on September 5th this year. It's only a few weeks away. Another thing that's been changed this year, the Pumpkin Fest is going to be held on the weekend of October 17th. They're pushing it earlier to try and, hook up with some of this still good weather. But the way I'm looking at it is the summer pretty much just got started. Like 2 weeks ago.
No, not even that long ago.
Or not even that long ago. So I'm thinking that by October, and let me tell you, it will be hell if it's 80 degrees and humid during the Pumpkin Fest. Believe me, it will not be fun. Perfect weather for Pumpkin Fest is like 67, 68 outside, maybe 65 with sun. That would be perfect. And Jim told me that the Saturday Fright Special Spooktacular at the Colonial Theater is going to be held on October 24th. So the week after the Pumpkin Fest, that's their little horror showcase where they show a couple of honest to goodness, like film, old movies, classic stuff. And I believe the Saturday Fright Special characters are all there, Scarewolf and Santoro and all them guys.
And they've got giveaways too.
Oh, and they've got giveaways. And Jim knows about Saturday Fright Special giveaways because he wins every week. Hey, it's not his fault that nobody else answers the questions. All right. So that's the calendar anyway. Oh, we've also got crap, I can't remember the date. It's like next week is Keen Idol.
The 20th.
Keen Karaoke Idol, the 20th. Thanks, Jim.
I
I'm
think-
glad somebody knows, because the crew will need to show up.
No, it's the 22nd. The city council, sorry.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. You've got them city council dates down pat, don't you, Jim? No, it's good, because we need somebody to handle it. Nobody seems to be stepping up and wanting to be involved, so. A big thing with a lot of us Americans is our fear of losing our rights to privacy. And people screaming about, you know, people filming in the court lobby, you know, and that's created a huge discussion about, you know, where should you have a reasonable expectation of privacy? And I've said a few shows ago that, you know, if you're expecting to have privacy, stay inside your house. I saw a scroll go across the bottom of the screen this week on TV that said in Britain there are 2.4 million surveillance cameras in Britain. That's one camera for every 14 people. Yeah. The average British citizen can be expected to be caught on security cameras 300 times a day. So yeah, you think, you know, we don't have any privacy? You know, that's it. The only place you have privacy is in your own home. That's why you don't. It bugs me, you know? I mean, people go, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that, we can't do that, because of cameras. You know, we can't go raise hell in a parking lot anymore because they put cameras in the parking lot. Well, no. If you want to raise hell, stay home. There's no cameras. But then again, these days you've got kids that raise hell at home and take videos of themselves and post it on YouTube. So still, there's no privacy there either. But you know, it's everybody screams and pisses and moans and says, "Oh, poor us, we've got it so bad." You know, but look around. Look at the world and see we don't have it all that bad. We've actually got it pretty damn cushy. We've got it so cushy, as a matter of fact, and the free market is so incredible. And hey, anybody can do it. Even prisoners. In Tampa, Florida, a group of inmates in the the minimum security Hillsborough County Jail down there in Florida. Inmates have started making and selling hot sauce. And they offer 3 varieties: original, smoke, and no escape. It's called Jailhouse Fire Hot Sauce. And it's all made from their very own peppers that they grow right there at the jail. They came up with the recipe and started selling it in 2005, and then since then the horticulture instructor estimates they've made $10,000. And each bottle is $7. And the income's used to keep up the greenhouses and to buy basic supplies. So that's kind of cool, you know. There's an idea for you, Mr. Van Wickler. Get the prisoners to do something productive, make a little bit of money to run your jail. Tampa, Florida can do it. You know. I like Rick Van Wickler. He's a good guy, man. And he's, you know, if anybody can run this jail, he can. And he's, you know, he's the guy to bring any new things. And I bet if he could find a little gimmick or something for them cats to do while they're stranded up there in the prison for being stupid, you know, because we don't have like real criminals in our jail. We got like guys that are just stupid, petty criminals, guys like this. Well, this isn't in Keene, but this is in Greenwich, which I'm assuming is is Connecticut. And I pulled it because I read the, I read the headline, and from the headline I know whether I'm going to read the story or not, or if I'm just going to take the headline and make up a story. Well, I read this, and it wasn't really all that good. But the headline says, Greenwich man breaks into home, cuts pubic hair. So I said, maybe I should read that. It's probably a good one. But apparently it's not all that good. Apparently the guy broke into one of his neighbor's houses while the owner was away, cut his pubic hair, and left the trimmings. And then felt guilty later on, so he called the woman and told her, and she called the cops. And he's been charged with first-degree burglary, and he's released on $2,000 surety bond, due to be back in court on August 14th, tomorrow. So hey, Greenwich, Connecticut, or Stamford, Superior Court in Stamford, tomorrow. Go on down, you can see the guy cut his pubic hair and left it. It almost sounds like a bad, Supreme Court confirmation hearing. Remember that? It was Charles Thomas.
Yes.
Oh, I think there's a pubic hair on my Coke can. They'll do anything. No excitement in this year's whole thing, other than the fact that she was a Latino. I was hoping she'd have some illegal Caucasian house workers or something,
Speeches, got her in trouble, but not that.
Well, yeah. I heard the word racist being tossed around because I believe she said that as a Latino woman, she could make a better decision than a white guy. If that's racist, I don't know. Maybe
Could be sexist.
maybe if we didn't have different races, we probably wouldn't have racism. But we'd have something else, probably just as bad. If we had, nobody discriminates on the size of somebody's nose, or the color of their eyes. They don't go, oh, you got blue eyes, get out of here. So it's fairly stupid. Like this. Salem, Oregon. No, this is even better. Grand Forks, North Dakota. Leave it to them Midwesterners. And I got a picture of this girl, too. A North Dakota woman is in jail again. Last week, she was ordered to get treatment. She's 26 years old. And if she got treatment, she would avoid jail on a child neglect charge. Because she was convicted of breastfeeding her 6-week-old baby while she was drunk. Says she's 26 years old, so she probably, maybe she didn't know better. But apparently, hours after the sentencing, she was arrested for allegedly slashing a tire on a truck. And the cops said she appeared drunk when they found her. So all these fresh legal troubles, prosecutors said the baby's been moved out of the house now, but didn't give any details. So, I remember right after my daughter was born, because that was back when Jane and I were actually liked each other, and we would do things together, and we were partiers. We were young and partying, and we had a party one weekend, and then on Tuesday, Sheena was sleeping a lot, and it worried Jane. So she called the doctor to find out what's wrong with our kid. Our kid's been sleeping 20 hours a day. you know, and she was usually a fairly noisy kid. The doctor, you know, after a few probing questions, it came out that, yes, we had drank that weekend. And that was when it didn't even dawn on Jane that anything she took in went, you know, straight to the source. And we got our kid shit-faced. And it's not good, really. So remember that if you're a new mother and you're thinking, hey, finally my kid's born, I can drink. No. If you're going to, plan ahead, get yourself one of them fancy-dancy little oil pump things and cow milkers and get out enough so that you have a chance to let all the alcohol get out of everything. So. Bruce in here shaking his head. He's going, man, cow milking thing. All right, got 2.5 minutes?
Yeah.
Thanks, Greg. This guy caught a burglar in his garage and called the cops. Actually, a woman called the cops and said her boyfriend caught a burglar in the garage and was holding him there. Can you please come? So the cops came and opened up the garage and found the man in the garage was wearing only the woman's underwear. Yeah. Later on, they went to his garage and searched his garage and found a number of large garbage bags full of women's clothing, underwear, shoes, and accessories. They charged him with burglary, theft, criminal trespassing, and possession of illegal fireworks. What? Like all the rest wasn't enough. They gotta go, hey, he had some firecrackers. Dumb. That's so stupid.
That's probably the only charge that'll stick.
Yeah. No, everything else will be dropped. We'll charge him with fireworks because that's a felony. Apparently, Cuba's in the grip of a serious economic crisis, even worse than the United States, because they're afraid that they may not have enough toilet paper.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. And Cuba's like a communist country. So everything is state-run.
1 minute.
And they're dropping the prices of 24 basic goods. But it says the corporation has taken all the steps so that at the end of the year there will be an important importation of toilet paper. Large shipment, unless something happens like the boat sinks or something. But I don't know. It says Cuba imports toilet paper and produces its own, but it doesn't have enough raw materials to make it. So, all right, 30 seconds. I want to thank my crew, thank my sponsor, Mom's Tattoo. Up next on No Spin, the No Spin movie expert, Jason Smith, will be on a little bit to talk about movies. Then they'll have Kathleen O'Donnell and Neil Donegan from the school board. So it should be a fun show. Till next week. Peace.
Stop. There are kids watching. That's no way to teach kids how to behave.